Today I'm faced with my worst nightmare coming true. We're going to look at the new Christopher Ward Dune, and I'm going to tell you why I hate it. Leaving 2024, I made this video of what I don't want to see in 2025. Part of that was because I see this trend going in a direction, and it is awful for people like me. Now, I'm a 6'3" guy. I have a big wrist. It's probably almost 8 inches. And there is an awful trend in the watch community of going down to 38 millimeter as a standard for a man's watch, especially like a field watch or something like that. I get it. Traditionally, they've always been smaller, and I think that's a great space for the vintage field watch world. But when it comes to a modern watch that most of us would like today, we could settle in at a 40 millimeter as well as thrive in the 42 millimeter lane. I'm a 42 millimeter guy, but I get it. Not everybody is built like a gorilla. That being said, I think that the 40 millimeter case size is probably the sweet spot for most of us men, at least here in North America. Cool watch after cool watch after cool watch I'm watching be released. 38 millimeter, 39 millimeter, 40 millimeter, and that's it. And that really cuts out a ton of my watch purchasing. Now, thankfully, there's all kinds of very cool dive watches, very cool field watches that are up above 40 millimeter out there for me to try, for me to purchase, for me to enjoy for myself. You can't tell me that a 38 millimeter watch is going to be more comfortable on the wrist than a 40 millimeter watch if everything else is the same. But I can tell you that a 38 millimeter watch looks substantially smaller than a 40 millimeter watch on the wrist when you have a bigger wrist. So companies, please change course. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. All right, now that rant's over, please, if you do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. It takes you 1 second, one and done. But for me, it helps me tremendously. Thank you in advance. I totally appreciate you guys. To help us understand a little bit behind the inspiration behind the Dune line and the beautiful dials that they made on this, you can actually see in the dial, it looks kind of like windblown sand dunes, right? So the Greek mythology story goes, Zeus entrusted Aeolus to be the keeper of winds. Now you have the Aeolian Islands that are near Sicily. You have Aeolian landforms that are basically all rock formations formed by wind. Now, as you look at those dials, they make a lot more sense as the inspired design of the watch. Looking at the tech specs of this watch, it is from the C65 line of watches. It's a stainless steel case that is 38 millimeter round. Lug to lug is 43.6 millimeter. Height is 11.7 millimeter. Now there's a bunch of colors in this and they all are very beautiful. These watches are Swiss made. First up is a 26 joule self-winding mechanical movement. It's a 38-hour power reserve. It does have a nice decorated finish on the rotor. And of course, there is an anti-shock system built into this watch, which makes it just a little bit tougher. So when you wear this watch every day, it just means you have more peace of mind that nothing's going to happen if you bang it into something or if you beat it up a little bit. It is 150 meters water resistant, which is more than enough for this style of watch. There is a screw down crown. Of course, there is a sapphire crystal on this watch, and the second hand is actually a brand new design by Christopher Ward. It is my favorite type of complication watch, which is the very basic 3-hand complication, hours, minutes, and seconds. Nothing fancy, nothing to distract or take away from that beautiful dial. 3 hands is a perfect choice for this watch. Lug size is 20 millimeters, so of course, that means the strap size that you'll get whenever you're adding straps to this, because I can already see a couple awesome straps. Actually, let me back up. When it comes to this style watch, you could buy different versions of it. I try, unless if there's one that I really love the look of and just don't think I'll ever change it, I try to buy the stainless steel bracelet on these watches. And then, because any strap that I buy after that will be cheaper. And normally you could get the bracelet cheaper when you buy it on the watch from the beginning. So if you can, buy the bracelet version of it and add your straps after that accordingly. Each of these dials are actually very beautiful. The sand dune pattern is, for me personally, I love the desert. I love getting out there adventuring and just being able to see landscape for as far as eyes can see, and watching the sand dunes and seeing how the wind has played with the patterns and the shapes of it. It's very beautiful, and these dials capture that perfectly. So Christopher Ward actually makes a GMT version of the Dune as well. Now the dial is just a flat dial, so it doesn't have that sand dune inspired design, but it does have an inner GMT bezel. The movement is a very nice Swiss made Selena SW330-2, which is a GMT movement that will give you 56 hours of power reserve. Everything else is basically the same on this watch. But it is kind of cool to have a GMT version of this. So when we're talking pricing, remember I start with the stainless steel bracelet on the watch. The GMT version is $1,395, where the sand dune dialed version is $1,095. Everything else kind of goes down from there when you start configuring the watch the way you want it. For the standard dune, which the sand dune dials, I am torn between that sand color and that green color. They are both just beautiful. I probably would get the sand color just because it was inspired by the sand dunes, and that best captures that vibe, you know, with it. And then when it comes to the GMT, hands down, the sand color takes it. It's got this khaki green inner bezel up against that sand color bezel. Oh, man, it's a beautiful watch. And it actually looks amazing on the leather strap. When you're talking one of my favorite watch brands, Christopher Ward, when you're talking a watch that I'm in the market to purchase, which is a GMT, when you're talking a dial that might be my favorite dial in the industry today, which is the Dunes of the original Dune, when you talk about being a field watch, when you talk about being Swiss made, when you talk about all the great things, the added value that you get with Christopher Ward without paying the price, what could I possibly hate about this watch? It only comes in 38 millimeter. That means I will never purchase this watch. That means I will never have the opportunity to wear one of these beautiful watches on my wrist. That sucks. The only thing I need is a version of this in a 42 millimeter, and I am sold. I love this watch. But the kiss of death for me is that sizing. Christopher Ward, do a guy a solid. That's all I got.